Stop waiting for the perfect time. Most people spend their entire lives waiting for a moment that never truly arrives. They wait to feel confident before taking action. They wait for support from others before believing in themselves. They wait for the perfect opportunity, the perfect mood, the perfect conditions, and the perfect timing before they finally begin. But Stoicism teaches a hard truth: the perfect time does not exist. Life will always feel uncertain, uncomfortable, and incomplete in some way. If you keep waiting until fear disappears, you may end up waiting forever. Every successful person you admire once stood at the same starting point, filled with doubt, uncertainty, and fear. The difference is they moved forward anyway. They understood that action creates momentum while waiting only strengthens hesitation. The longer you delay your dreams, the more your mind becomes trained to accept comfort, excuses, and an average life. Fear grows stronger every time you avoid action because avoidance teaches your mind that discomfort should be escaped instead of faced. But the moment you take the first step, something powerful begins to happen. Your confidence slowly grows through experience, not imagination. Your mind starts realizing that progress is created through movement, not overthinking. Stoicism teaches that courage is not the absence of fear, it is the decision to act despite fear. Life rewards movement because movement creates growth, opportunity, and transformation. The moment you stop waiting and start acting with purpose, your entire direction in life begins to change. Ask clearly for what you want. Many people go through life silently hoping things will somehow change while never clearly expressing what they truly want. They hide their ambitions, opinions, and desires because they fear rejection, embarrassment, or judgment from others. Instead of speaking directly, they speak with hesitation, uncertainty, or apology. But Stoicism teaches that clear communication is a form of strength. The world cannot respond to confusion, and opportunities rarely come to people who are too afraid to ask for them. If you want respect, growth, opportunities, or change, you must learn to express yourself with honesty, confidence, and clarity. Stoics believe that directness is powerful because it removes fear and replaces it with responsibility. When you clearly say what you want, you stop hiding behind excuses and passive thinking. This does not mean becoming arrogant or demanding, it means respecting your own goals enough to speak about them openly without shame. The people who change their lives are often not the most talented, but the ones brave enough to ask, speak, try, and risk rejection without letting fear silence them. Every time you communicate clearly despite discomfort, you strengthen your confidence and train your mind to stop shrinking itself. Life changes when you stop waiting for permission and start speaking with purpose. Fear exists mostly in the mind. Fear becomes stronger the longer you avoid action. The mind starts creating endless worst-case scenarios, imagining failure, embarrassment, rejection, or disaster before anything has even happened. Over time, these imagined fears begin to feel more real than reality itself. Stoicism teaches that the human mind can either become your greatest weapon or your biggest prison depending on how you train it. When you constantly overthink without acting, fear grows larger because your imagination keeps feeding it. You start feeling trapped not by reality, but by thoughts about reality. Most of the things people fear deeply never even happen, yet the mind still suffers as if they already did. Stoicism teaches that confidence is not built through endless thinking, but through action. The moment you take even one small step forward, fear begins losing its control over you because reality replaces imagination. You realize that many of the things your mind warned you about were exaggerated illusions created by anxiety and hesitation. Courage does not mean feeling no fear at all. Courage means moving forward despite fear, despite uncertainty, and despite discomfort. Every time you act while afraid, you train your mind to stop seeing fear as a stop sign. Slowly, your confidence grows because you prove to yourself again and again that fear does not have the power to control your decisions unless you allow it to. Nobody is coming to save you. One of the hardest but most important truths in life is understanding that nobody is coming to build your future for you. No one will magically fix your problems, remove your struggles, or hand you success without effort. Life does not operate on rescue, it operates on responsibility. Stoicism teaches that the moment you stop waiting for others to change your situation, you take your power back. As long as you keep blaming people, circumstances, or timing, you stay stuck in the same place emotionally and mentally. But when you accept responsibility, even for difficult situations, you regain control over how you respond and what you do next. Victim thinking keeps people dependent and passive because they believe life happens to them instead of through them. Strong people think differently. They understand that while they cannot control everything, they can always control their next action. They stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and start asking, "What can I do now?" That shift is where real transformation begins. Your future is not decided by luck or perfect conditions, it is shaped by the small decisions you make every single day when no one is watching. Stoicism teaches that strength is built in responsibility, not excuses. The moment you stop waiting to be saved, you start becoming the person who saves themselves. Stop living for other people's opinions. So many dreams never come to life because people quietly kill them themselves out of fear of judgment. They overthink how they will be seen, what others will say, and whether they will be accepted or criticized. Slowly, opinions from people who are not even living their life start becoming more important than their own happiness. Stoicism teaches that this is one of the biggest traps of the mind. When external validation becomes your guide, you stop living for yourself and start living for approval. And approval is unstable, it changes from person to person, situation to situation, and moment to moment. The truth is simple: people will judge you no matter what you do. If you succeed, they will talk. If you fail, they will talk. If you try something new, they will still have opinions. So sacrificing your dreams just to avoid temporary judgment makes no sense. Stoics understood that seeking validation weakens the mind because it puts your self-worth in the hands of others. Real freedom begins when you accept that not everyone will understand you, and that is okay. The people who achieve greatness are not the ones who avoid criticism, but the ones who move forward despite it. When you stop letting opinions control your choices, you finally start living a life that belongs to you, not to the expectations of others. Wishing is not enough. Everyone wishes for success, peace, confidence, and freedom at some point in life. But wishing alone has no power to change reality. It creates comfort in imagination but no movement in real life. Stoicism teaches that discipline is greater than fantasy because life responds to action, not desire. You can wish for a better future for years, but nothing changes until your decisions start changing. The real shift happens when you stop living in, "I hope one day," and start living in, "I will act today." The moment you fully decide to pursue something seriously, your entire behavior begins to transform. Your habits slowly start aligning with your goal, your focus becomes sharper, and your excuses begin to lose their influence. A clear decision creates direction, and direction creates discipline. Dreams only become real when they are supported by consistent action, repeated even when motivation is low. A weak wish keeps you stuck in thinking, but a strong decision forces you into movement. Stoicism teaches that transformation is not born from hope alone, but from the courage to act repeatedly until change becomes reality. Learn to keep going after failure. Most people quit too early. The moment life becomes difficult, they start believing that failure is a signal to stop. But Stoicism teaches a completely different mindset. Failure is not the end of the path, it is part of the path. Every setback carries a lesson, even if it is uncomfortable or painful in the moment. Obstacles are not there to break you, they are there to reveal your character, how you think under pressure, how you respond under stress, and how willing you are to continue when things are not going your way. Most people never reach their potential not because they fail, but because they stop after failing once or twice. Strong people are not the ones who never fall, they are the ones who refuse to stay down. They understand that growth is not a smooth process, it is messy, uncomfortable, and often filled with repeated struggle. Every level of improvement demands sacrifice, patience, and persistence. Stoicism teaches endurance because real transformation takes time and resistance. When life pushes you back, it is testing whether you truly want what you say you want. Success often does not belong to the most talented person, but to the one who simply kept going when everyone else gave up. Your self-image controls your life. The way you see yourself affects everything you do. Your self-image quietly influences your decisions, your effort, your behavior, and even how you respond to challenges. If you constantly tell yourself that you are weak, unlucky, or incapable, those thoughts do not stay in your mind, they slowly turn into habits. You stop trying as hard, you avoid difficult situations, and you settle for less without even realizing it. Stoicism teaches that the mind is shaped through repetition, and whatever you repeat to yourself becomes the foundation of your identity. That is why internal dialogue is so powerful. It is either building you or limiting you every single day. To change your life, you must first change how you see yourself. You have to train your mind to think with discipline, strength, and confidence even when your circumstances are not perfect yet. This does not mean ignoring reality, it means refusing to define yourself by temporary limitations. When your identity starts shifting, your actions naturally follow. You begin to behave differently, make better choices, and push yourself beyond old limits. Over time, the world responds differently to you because you are no longer acting from a place of doubt, but from a place of self-belief. Stoicism teaches that your identity is not fixed, it is built through consistent thoughts, choices, and actions. When you change your self-image, you change the direction of your entire life. Remember that time is limited. Stoicism constantly reminds us of one simple but uncomfortable truth: life is temporary, and everything you have today is not guaranteed to stay forever. One day, opportunities will disappear. One day, the chances you keep postponing will no longer be available. One day, your time will quietly run out without warning. This idea is not meant to create fear or negativity, but to awaken urgency. When you truly understand how limited life is, you start valuing every moment differently. You stop treating time as something endless and start treating it as something precious that cannot be recovered once it is lost. When this awareness becomes real in your mind, hesitation starts to lose its power. You no longer waste energy on overthinking, excuses, or unnecessary delay because you realize that waiting also has a cost. You begin focusing more on what actually matters instead of what feels comfortable in the moment. Bold action becomes easier because you understand that tomorrow is never guaranteed, and neither is the perfect opportunity you keep waiting for. Stoicism teaches that urgency is not panic, it is clarity. And when you live with this clarity, you start acting with purpose, making decisions faster, and living each day with more intention than before. Master yourself and your life will change. At the end of the day, Stoicism is not about controlling everything around you, it is about mastering yourself. You cannot control people, circumstances, timing, or the unpredictability of life. But you can always control your mindset, your actions, your discipline, and your reactions. This is where real power begins. Most people spend their lives trying to fix external problems while ignoring the internal chaos within them. Stoicism flips this completely and teaches that lasting change never starts outside, it always starts within. Life begins to transform the moment you stop waiting for external conditions to improve and start working on yourself first. When your mind becomes disciplined, your emotions become stable, and your actions become intentional, you naturally rise above situations that once felt overwhelming. A disciplined mind combined with bold, consistent action can overcome almost anything because it is no longer easily shaken by fear or uncertainty. Instead of reacting to life helplessly, you start responding with control and clarity. The real shift happens when you master yourself. At that point, you are no longer chasing life, approval, or circumstances, you are leading your own direction. You make decisions with confidence, act with purpose, and stay steady even when things are uncertain. Stoicism teaches that self-mastery is not a destination but a daily practice, and the more you practice it, the more your entire life begins to align with strength, peace, and control. If you liked this video, then it means one thing clearly: you are not comfortable with staying stuck anymore. You are starting to see that waiting, overthinking, and doubting yourself has already taken enough time from your life. And that awareness is powerful, because most people never even reach that point. They keep repeating the same patterns without questioning them. Now the real question is not whether this message made sense. The real question is whether you are willing to apply it. Because understanding Stoic ideas is easy, but living them is where most people fail. It is simple to agree with, act boldly, or ask clearly, but the moment life challenges you, fear usually takes control again. That is why this message is not just for motivation, it is a reminder to change behavior, not just thoughts. If this video connected with you, it should push you towards small but real actions. Not big dramatic changes overnight, but simple steps like speaking more clearly about what you want, taking action even when you feel unsure, and stopping the habit of waiting for perfect conditions. Every small bold move starts rebuilding your confidence from the inside. And if you felt something while watching this, don't ignore it. That feeling is not random, it is your mind recognizing the gap between where you are and where you want to be. Most people ignore that feeling and go back to comfort. But the ones who grow are the ones who respond to it with action, even if it's uncomfortable at first. So if this message added value to your thinking, then the next step is yours. Don't let it end here as just another video you watched. Let it become a turning point in how you respond to life from this moment onward.